Yeah, exactly. 'Cause I forgot what I was saying, and I'm not even going to try to play it off at this point. But yeah, that Stalker, all these things can really just cause a lot of havoc for a Terran who didn't do damage with that early gas build. Instead, though, Wrestling Co. just going to hang out and keep it for defense, which is good because there's Reapers on the map. Doesn't really know what's coming. But now, the weird part is earlier, the last game, at this point, you had barracks already up, research already being finished. You had almost Starport being started. Really put himself in a really good position. It was hitting at about 9:45 actually, instead of that standard 10:30 timing. So the consequence of not doing damage early is this is going to be delayed now by about another 30-45 seconds, which doesn't seem like a big deal, but that was the difference between stimming up the ramp with only 3 sentries and going into Colossus. And at this level, it makes, that big of a difference. You've got Masters players, this is a semifinal, so those little timings are going to make a big difference. So knowing this, though, Styx is going to have to compensate in some way, whether that be taking a fast expansion or doing some really unorthodox push. Something's got to happen. You can't just macro back and forth with a Protoss. It just doesn't work out that way. Baron is a very mobile, cost-efficient race, and Styx has played in a few of his games. You have to be all over the map, all over your opponent, to make them miss their macro transitions and to do damage. Gotta delay that late tech. Alright, based on the timings, based on the not taking the 4th gas there, and now salvaging that, I have to think that Styx is going to move into a late game. He's not one to just push. As we see a lot of players do here, is it gets 2 bases and they go, oh, well, I kind of did damage, but not really, so let's just push and see what happens. This is really understanding the game, understanding what the opponent can and can't do, respecting your opponent, knowing Wrestling Co. is going to be able to macro is not bad, so... Alright, actually moving out. Make me look like an idiot once again, but it's okay. And this was the other thing, was either take a third or move out for some damage around that normal 10:30 mark, which you're seeing. This is standard, but the difference now, you're going to see now that Warpin comes, and we'll see what happens. Colossus out. Not really going to be able to do enough, I think. Maybe a little too greedy again. Colossus just completely ignored. That overcharge, nice time warp going down on all the Marines. That just cuts their DPS in half. And now here comes the follow-up Warpin and beautifully defended the complete opposite of last game. Really, really, really well played. Said, okay, you're going to come in with that push again. I've got you. Landed all the force fields, landed the time warp beautifully. Where he had to choose between being force fielded and being time warped against the Nexus. Either way, it just lost the battle. Alright, follow-up aggression imminent now. Still no third base. Gotta think that Wrestling Co. is planning for theirs. We have a real Colossus out now. This is going to get really tricky. This build, as weak as it was in the early game, is now going to show what exactly it can do. And you get everything. There's sentries for the force fields. We're going to have charge lots, blink stalkers, observers around the field. You're going to have upgrades as well. So it's a really diverse army. It can't be, you can't go Marauder heavy. You have to have a really perfectly balanced army. Honestly, he needs to almost transition into some type of ghost tech again. It's going to be hard because he doesn't have the macro advantage he did last game, but this Colossus in this build is really just for show. It's to kind of force Viking production and to force Marauders. But you're seeing actually both. So Wrestling Co. kind of just playing pissed off, I feel like, just showing really the talent. Hitting all the timing, stopped the early aggression. Had good scouting in the early game, and it's really all coming together. Really just well-rounded, beautifully played game so far. And you're seeing this Colossus, as I was saying, you're seeing Viking production now, but there's only one Colossus. Like, now is going completely into Templars. This is just for show. This is to show I have a Colossus, and now it's going to go into full Templar tech. And that makes these Marauders absolutely worthless against charge lots, and it makes them absolutely horrible against any Archons, Stalkers. And in this ambiguity of I don't know what the hell my Protoss opponent's doing, there's a third down now already. So if there was an attack, you die because there's only one. There's only one Colossus. So as you can see at the highest level or higher levels of play, all these mind games going on. One Colossus. The whole build was to do early Colossus and then be able to transition into either tech depending on what you want to do. And look, that's worked out so beautifully. Like the window of opportunity for Terran, the normal window of opportunity was between 10 and like 15. It's gone. And really, Styx couldn't really do anything. I mean, got some decent engage off in the beginning, but kind of just traded evenly, and then kind of got forced into Viking production, which is now worthless. And things not bad, but I'd be scared right now. An uncontested toss player on 3 bases and 6 gas, just macroing with no losses. Styx needs some engages, and needs them now. He needs some damage. Not wanting. It's getting to the point where we're like 2 warp-ins away from having a maxed out toss army. That'll start. That'll be a nice start. He's really got to get some good engages off. And I think really quickly we're going to find out how overproduced these Vikings work, because they're going to see the one Colossus and then, oh my god, there's a storm, oh my god, he went Templar tech. Right there is exactly why Ruslenko went that build. Vikings went in, there was a follow-up army, Marauder heavy, and right into a storm. Was not expecting it, had no idea that the transition had been made. Yeah, having to pull back again, get into a very defensive position, is down supply now. Now you have a warp in coming in the bottom, charge lots, able to come in, do some damage, take out a mule, always a good thing. That's almost 300 minerals right there. There's 6, no, was able to clean it up. Is continuing, noted halt Viking production finally. Man, that's the problem with that. If you don't get a good scout off as Terran, his Vikings really don't help you at all. Really don't help you at all. Yeah, is electing to go for some drop play. He's got to be careful, because if this army marches into the base, I don't think Styx can do too much right now. That'll be a good start, though. Look at that nice transition, though. Bought enough time with all those shenanigans. Wasn't trying to go for a kill here at all. Was just buying time to get these ghosts out. But look, here come the Dark Templars. We saw Ruslenko try to get this last game. Didn't quite get there. Oh, these are beautiful. Even if they die, they're wasting scans. That's just so important. Now can come in from the other side, and like 3 scans now having me burned just to kill 3 Dark Templars. While it is a technically even trade, it makes it really difficult for the Terran to dump their minerals. You're actually seeing a little bit of slip macro by both players, kind of soaring high in both resources right now. Rightfully so, with Dark Templar being one of the harder things to defend, and for this reason right here. One is going and just wreaking havoc. This 3rd base isn't mining now, compared to this 18. For how many seconds? How long is this going to go on? Oh, see, there it is. He knows. This is a good map. This is a good map to pick, especially after coming off a loss. The diversity of this army. You know, here comes the final push to kind of do some damage, because there's just so much going on here at the 3rd. There's storms landed, EMPs going back and forth. Another beautiful storm put right in the heart of that bio army. And it is Colossus Light, so they got to be careful. It's getting pushed back as well, but oh wait, what's happening here? Maybe a little bit of slip macro as we have the counter attack. Actually, all those EMPs started to do work on the gateway units. They kind of just stood in there, and now he's pushing back. He was down in supply, but now he's going for the death push, and there's going to be a counter as well. These Marauders are going to rip apart these. Oh, nice, and he's taking out the proxy capabilities as well. We could see a possible base trade, but I don't know. There's still a lot of resources to be thrown into units here, and here come all the SCVs as well. I am really confused at this point. And there's a good game. That was just kind of an all-in at the end. Wrestling right back in the game, ties it up at 1-1. Can't wait to go to game 3, see what happens. Daybreak is not on there. I don't know what I'm talking about. Because I'm silly. Daybreak is on there. Daybreak. Yeah, I hate it. I hate Daybreak. It's awful. It's one of the worst maps I've ever played on. Like I hate it. It's because I play Zerg, but I hate that map so bad. Absolutely awful. Alright, we're gonna go right into this last game. This is winner take all. Winner is gonna go on to the finals.
I'm sexy and I'm old.
And it's gonna be a Terran versus Toss. Both players edging one out on each other in identical games, nearly both relying on heavy macro and harassment. Daybreak's going to be the final map. Kind of a neutral map, I feel like. No real advantage to any particular race in this matchup. And introducing our players for the semifinal match. In the top right, we have Styx in the Emerald. And the bottom left is going to be Russell and Co. in the Teal, both at 1 win apiece. A lot of pressure here. Winner's going to go on to the finals. I hope they just play normal, play smooth, play fluid. And when we're still tied for a game like this, it's anything goes. All-ins, 4 gates, proxies are all on the map. We'll see what happens. I think each player, making macro mistakes in the first 2 games are both going to really just try to bring their A game, I think, and go a little conservative. Try to just nail that macro down. Got to move on a strong note into the final match. But we're going to see how it plays out. The important thing to know about Daybreak, well, there's two things. 2 things about Daybreak. For one, the third can be really well defended. There's not a lot of airspace. There's a very narrow choke point right here for the Toss player. And then it's a very narrow choke point right here. So it's really not... It's well defended in terms of other maps. You're worried about drops here, but the problem with the drops is they're targetable almost all the way as they go to the third. So they can't really hop back and forth. They have to take the long route around, do any follow-up harassment or anything. But at the same time, it is a large map. There's a lot of things going on. There is a fairly easy to take third, a clear third. You definitely don't want to take this one as your third, so pretty straightforward. It induces a lot of macro matches. You don't see too much cheese on this map. Alright, is able to get down that denial of the scout. If I was a betting player, I would almost assume that kind of Styx is not going to go aggressive again, because it caused him his first loss. And it just really put him behind. So even not seeing this, if it was a finals, I would almost just kind of assume that it's going to be a 1-rack expand of some sort. But over here, we do have the 1 gate, 2 gas. It's a really early gas, and not sure what's going to happen with it. Styx trying to keep his SCV live as long as possible, but seeing the build, he's got to know it's a proxy. Okay, right now he knows it's a proxy for sure, 100%. There's no, for one, no warp gate research, and 2, there's no mothership core as well. Now the third thing he can go for and check for is an expand. He's not going to maybe see it, try to keep it alive as long as possible. But yeah, you can see he's already checking for the normal proxy spots because he knows. If there's double gas and no mothership core, you have to spend your gas on something. It's